What's up, my dudes? Happy Wednesday. Or as I say, happy off day. I just want to share with you guys some things. As you'll see later in the video, I made a boo-boo. Do some research before you do things. More on that later. But I woke up this morning and walked out my door, and the first thing that caught my eye, this guy right here. Bam. Those are my beautiful zucchini flowers. They've been showing lately, but they were still shriveled up and compact, right? And I walked out this morning not expecting anything any different, just like some compact flowers that are still kind of blah. And it's like a bright yellow bullseye right in my face. So I'm going to go on this journey with you guys. I've watered them, but I haven't really looked into them. So let's see what we got going on our zucchini. So you can see you got some more flowers that are not ready. You got these little guys. That is a male flower. From what I hear, oh no, I'm gonna have to cut this guy. He's wilting away. I don't know what that is. Zucchinis and squash are known for zucchini burrs or something like that. Anyway, they get in the stem of your plants. They lay eggs, and then there's like this little grub that'll climb all the way up your tubes of your zucchinis. And from what I see, you can lose a huge, big plant like this in a matter of 2 days if not caught early. So keep an eye on your plants. Yeah, this guy down here, that's gonna be a female. But as I'm looking, it looks like almost all of them are males. And that seems to be pretty common from other zucchini enthusiasts, or maybe zucchiniists. I don't know what they like to be called. But you can look down in here. These guys are pretty huge. Still no fruit. Still nothing but male flowers. But you know, it happens. I think my tomato plants may have a little clue on what's going on with my other guys. The edges of these guys, like right here, are starting to curl up. This leaf right here is a really good example. It's not droopy, it's curled. The same as that leaf. It's not droopy, it's curled. It's got form. We're on a journey of discovery together, so. But it's funny because everything on this side is droopy. Like, these guys are definitely underwatered or overwatered. These guys look slightly overwatered. It's kind of hard. Like, they look droopy. I think I'm going to leave these guys over here alone. My cucumbers over here that I moved, they're still looking healthy. They almost died in the other spot, but like, they look much better than they did. This guy's definitely overwatered, so yeah, I think I'm gonna leave this bed. I think I'm gonna water this bed and leave this bed alone. I think that is my plan. It's kind of weird though, because it seems like everything on that side, including those tomatoes, seem overwatered, and things on this side and in this bed, including that tomato over here that's not in the ground, they all seem like they need water. The only thing I can think is, so the sun sets on the other side of those houses. So that bed is in the sun for less amount of time. Whereas this bed stays in the sun longer, so maybe that dried it out. Another thing while I'm on here, when you're planting and you look up and you look at the shadow on the ground, like this shadow, none of that shadow showed up ever when I planted that seed and that seed. But at the same time, if you look up, none of those leaves were in. They were all just like naked branches. And so think about the shade that's going to be cast by things once they start to grow leaves, because this isn't the sunny place it was a few months ago. So sometimes you start things that you don't know about, and after you get started, you realize you did something stupid. So that's what brings me down here today. I built these raised beds that I'm really proud of. And before I put my dirt or any of that down, I was like, oh, what can I use to stop the weeds? So I made the dumb decision of using plastic. While that will stop weeds from coming up, will also stop roots from going down. So do some research before you do things, or learn from my mistakes. One of the tips that I have found is that if you line the bottom of your bed with cardboard, not only will that kill the weeds, but it'll also decompose and your roots will grow through it. So I'm trying to do surgery on the base of my beds without killing my plants. So I'm not trying to dig right like at the base of my plants, but what I am trying to do is dig over, get all the way down to the base of my bed. There's not been anything easy about this. I already did one bed. I've done a portion of this bed. And I thought, hey, why not let them see my mistakes and what I did? Maybe they won't feel so bad when they make mistakes, because we all do. I'm having a hard time grabbing there, so I'm going to go to this corner. We already, there we go. I don't think I'm going to get 100% of the plastic out, but what I do think I can do is get a large percentage of it out while I'm trying to be gentle with my plants. There's also a lot of dirt. Try not to lose any of the good dirt. All right. When I get done with those, I'm just gonna fill the hole back in, try to cover the mulch back up. Try to keep the dirt covered and the mulch on top. So I think this is what is causing some of my plants to look like they're being overwatered, because some of the bags that I found were just holding so much water that didn't have anywhere to go. It's another reason that you don't use plastic as a barrier. All right, so I just got done pulling up as much as I can. So there's a battle between getting as much out of the garden, as much plastic out of the garden as I can, versus I don't want to kill my plants. So obviously digging underneath plants that are still living has risk. I know that I've damaged a couple of them while I was ripping out all that plastic. Definitely
never going to use plastic again. But if you look behind me, that's all of the plastic bags I got out. And looking at it, the area of coverage on my sidewalk versus how big my beds are, I feel like I got about 65 to 75% of the plastic out from underneath the beds. And you know what? While I'm going through the plastic, like I said, I know I damaged some of my plant. Like, the beds aren't that deep and they were moving. It was like they experienced a little earthquake. But in cleaning up the trash bags that I had spread all out, this guy right here, that's a root, and I'm pretty sure it's from my butternut squash. Of course, that's not the only root, but when you're digging underneath your plants, you run the risk of damaging that. Don't know if that's going to stunt the growth or what's going to happen. I'm going to watch and see, and who knows. Oh, by the way, even if you don't have to dig out the trash underneath your garden beds, go out and play in your garden. Science has shown that people that get dirt under their nails are generally happier, friendlier people. So go play in the dirt. Smile. So after digging out the bottom of my beds and pulling all that plastic out, worst decision I've made in gardening so far. Yeah, I'm not convinced that was the issue. I'm kind of confused, and I haven't found any correct answers. If you guys want to give me some tips, comment below. But my plants, they appeared to be overwatered, and I get that because we had a lot of rain, and then on top of that I had plastic below all my garden. So yeah, it was just holding water, none of it was draining. So it looked like they were showing signs of being overwatered, or at least from what I have researched. So that led me to pull up all the plastic from underneath. But the more I am in my garden, the more my experience are outweighing my research. I've come to the conclusion that even though they were very wet at the bottom of the beds, some of these guys are underwatered. So kind of in a predicament. They were oversaturated, straight to undersaturated. Then they had me messing around with the roots. So now they're in shock, and all my plants, like, if they could speak, they'd probably be yelling at me like, "Bro, what you doing, man?" I don't know what I'm doing. But hey, I came out here, I watered them today. These guys are feeling pretty dry to the touch. So like I've mentioned in previous videos, yellow leaves are typical with underwatering. But my yellow leaves are turning brown, and that's typical of not enough water. So you can find anything you want on the internet. You can find the craziest things that people will support on the internet. But from my experience, when I touch my leaves, they shouldn't feel crisp and fragile. They should feel vibrant and, can't think of the word, but like malleable, but that's a metal word. Whatever malleable would be for plants. They should be able to not be rigid like that. So I've come to the conclusion that they need water. So I came out here and watered them today. But we'll check in on that in a couple days and see how they rebound. I'm going to show you the worst couple ones that I have, and we'll see what it looks like next week. So first, the worst is, it's either squash or zucchini, I'm not sure, but it's one or the other. They're really closely related, so I would enjoy producing either one. And this guy right here, you can see this back leaf as well.
I just watered them so they automatically feel less crisp. I'm hoping it bounces back. If not, I will continue to baby the ones that haven't died on me. So when you're in your garden this year, next year, whenever you start gardening, when you're in your garden, you're gonna have failures like that. But keep going. So I also want to show you guys some exciting news. I think I showed you guys a couple baby tomatoes last time. So I got a little bit more on that front. I want to find a specific spot on this plant. Okay, so my Sunsweet cherry tomatoes are starting to produce right here. 2 little babies. So that's fun. My Roma has a few tomatoes on it now. I haven't done a count in a couple days, so maybe I'll be surprised. I'm looking at 2. And check out these flowers. Yeah, just looks like 2. So here's my Romas. Got this little guy growing in right here. Got this little guy growing in right here. These little flowers don't have anything going on them yet. But I knew that my Romas were gonna be slower. We've already went over that. Now the fun part. Got my early girls going. Can't wait to start slicing these guys. So I got these 3. I got 1, 2, 3, 4 growing out of there. I moved the tomato cage between these 2. Learning as I go, my strings holding them up were like, yeah, right. I ain't doing that no more. I don't got the integrity to hold your plants, Michael. But, so I got those going on. So, we're gonna come over to this guy. This guy is producing pretty well. All looking pretty healthy. I cut this guy, I pruned this little guy off. He was going off to a dead end with nothing on it. So it was like, oh, you don't need that energy to go there. Then I got the second section somewhere in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this guy, I just saw him. Where'd he go? There's a new one that I haven't seen before. He's a little baby. Yeah, so pretty psyched about my tomatoes. See what we get going on. So that's it for now as far as that fruiting goes. I'm gonna keep a close eye, try to keep track on how my plants are going as far as the yellowing and the browning goes. Like, there's a fine line. I hear the most common mistake new gardeners have is they overwater. So I've been bouncing on the skimpy side just because it's like, okay, everybody overwaters, let me not water quite as much. Yeah, I'm going to show you one more sick plant that I'm guessing is I thought it was overwatering, but now I'm guessing it's underwatering. Got my butternut squash. This leaf is yellow. Some are more yellow than others, but if I touch this yellow one, it doesn't feel waterlogged. It feels crisp. But when I touch these vibrant ones, they feel much better. So yeah, just a little update. Hope this video finds you guys doing well. And yeah, keep it up. You guys are awesome. Once again, like, if you want to give me any advice, ask any questions, do it in the comments. Peace out, my peoples. Bye.